Whenever I have to do some heavy lifting, or an activity that is even somewhat strenuous, I try to remind myself to warm up. To not just dive right in to whatever needs to be done, but beforehand to do some movement preparations and get my muscles warm and ready for what I'm about to do. See how heavy these are. Alright, get moved. Straight down right here. Ready? Lift. One. Squat. Lift. Good lift. Ready, lift. Three. Let's see here. How hard is that? Go for one more. Ready, lift. Now, I don't know how much these things actually weigh, but they're heavier than they look. Now, before you say anything here, I know some of you are probably thinking, Mike, why don't you use your lawn tractor or some other equipment to move the concrete blocks? Well, for starters, last year I accidentally burned out the transmission on my lawn tractor moving heavy stuff like this, so not gonna do that. And besides, this kind of exercise keeps me from having to go to the gym. I don't want to have to go to the gym to get my exercise when I can just move heavy stuff and work out here and get my exercise in at the same time of doing something productive. Okay, now we got to go downhill here. Oh boy. Last year I started constructing a permanent area for my ducks. I just love my ducks. I think they might be my favorite farm animal. I don't know. What's yours? Let me know in the comments section below. I'm also looking forward to ducks that I'm getting this year from Murray McMurray Hatchery. Yep, excited about that. But even though I do get my birds from hatcheries, I also breed my own. And that's one of the main purposes of this permanent duck area, is so that way I can breed my own various breeds of ducks. I can reproduce them. And that's something that I think every homesteader and farmer should do. I'm not saying stop buying from hatcheries, but all of us should be breeding at least 1 or 2 flocks of breeders on our own. I think it's important to do, because you never know. One day you might not be able to get from a hatchery. Or, I'm not saying I want this to happen, your flock could be the last flock of a particular breed, and you could play a vital role in saving that breed. But anyways, I had planned to use these concrete blocks for our Welsh Harlequin ducks. And out of the ducks, I think my Welsh Harlequin are the prettiest ones. Shh, don't tell the other ones, especially the females. I love the coloring on them. They're beautiful. But before I could put these concrete pieces in place, I first had to do some digging, starting off with a mattock to loosen up the dirt. Then I used a shovel to scoop up what I had loosened with the mattock. That's it. Let me tell you, all that shoveling was a workout too for my arms, shoulders. And the reason why I'm doing this is because the area is sloped, and where we have static runs for our livestock, I like to do deep bedding with mulch. And putting mulch on a sloped area, or even trying to grow food for that matter, it's hard because things will just wash away with the rain. So terracing it out, flattening an area out, will help the mulch stay where we want it to stay. So I had to do a lot of digging to flatten it out. Then I was able to put the concrete pieces in. And I promise no ducks were hurt in the filming of this video. And these concrete pieces will serve as retaining block for our terraced terrain here. Watch your toes. Then after shoveling and adding our concrete pieces in, next we added mulch to their area to make the deep bedding. And the purpose of the mulch and deep bedding is to provide them with a healthier environment for them to live in. And this is really important for static runs. And we also added some additional mulch later on. And while we were working in this area, I was reminded that I needed to do something here with our Welshes. I need to take a census.
Alright, let's see here. How many females do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 female Welsh Harlequin. And there's a lot of dudes here. Let's see how many dudes we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dudes. Too many. Ideally, I like to have one male per 10 to 12 hens. So we're gonna need to get a bunch of these dudes out. Let's maybe keep 2 males in here. Gotta get 2 more dudes out.
Go for that one right there and the one over there.
I've learned from experience that having too many males is not good for your females. That the male birds will abuse the ladies with trying to mate with them too much. And the ladies will be injured, they'll be stressed out, laying less eggs, and I don't want that. You don't want that either. So it's important to have a good ratio of males to females. So we had to get some of those males out of there. Now I'm not culling those males, at least right now. We'll see what happens later on. But we put them on the outer fence away from our Welsh females. And then we went right back to work. The dirt that we dug out of here was some good stuff. It has duck manure mixed with some leaf bedding and mulch bedding. It's good stuff. So that dirt, excess dirt that I took out, we put over around our blackberry bushes. Blackberries are delicious. Look forward to having those again. Ducks, Mike, ducks. Let me say, ducks are fun to raise. They're fun to watch, fun to interact with. But I would say they are a little bit harder to raise than chickens because they do require a little bit more work to mitigate the mess that they can make. Because ducks and water, yes, they go hand in hand, but they also make a mess with their water, which is why we use water covers for our ducks. This allows them to get the water, get their eyes wet, head in there, drink the water that they need, but not to climb in there and splash all the water all over the place. And this is the setup that we have for our Welsh Harlequin ducks. And I plan to duplicate this setup for each of our breeding areas. But I also want to mention that we also, during the warmer months, raise chickens and ducks in the pasture, where I move them on to fresh grass daily and they're able to eat bugs and all that stuff. But for our breeders and in the colder months, we raise them here in this static run. And with each breed having their own breeding pen, we know that the eggs that we gather from these pens are specifically for that particular breed. And speaking of eggs, sometimes ducks will lay their eggs anywhere and everywhere. Not always where you want them to be. And in the Welsh area, I need an official name for it. We have the Pekin Palace, but I need something for the Welsh Manor, I don't know. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But anyways, going into the Welsh pen hasn't been easy because I haven't finished a gate, a door to go into their pen. So Josiah, who helps me out with getting their eggs and tending to them, has had to climb over this sheet of metal that I've had as their gate. But now's the time to construct a gate, a door, so that way we can come in and out of their pen easier. It's time to do an upgrade. And it just so happens that recently my brother-in-law, Hazen, asked me if I wanted some farm gates that he got from a construction project where somebody was getting rid of them. And I was like, sure, I'll take those. I know exactly how we can use them. So I moved one of those gates down to our Welsh area and started working on it. Alrighty. And of course I had to do some more digging.
Yeah, we'll make that work. Alright, so that's all there.
Oh, come on. That is
Clean out down here a little bit more first.
And a little more digging so that way the gate could swing open.
Alright, Josiah, I'm ready for you.
And to attach the gate, Josiah
Right there.
pre-drilled a hole
Not make
for
it
the
straight.
gate screws to go into.
Tighten it up more. Yep. Roll.
Then I put in the screws.
Now, the next part. This new door here is not as wide as the opening that I originally built because I was planning to build my own doors, but then I was like, these high quality doors already built for me and for free. Of course I'm gonna take that. So I'll just put a new post here.
As we were working here, Micah, my other son, was going to be the gatekeeper to make sure that the Welsh Harlequin didn't just rush out as we're working on our gate. Now, I do let the ducks free range out on the pond at various times of year, but we don't do that all the time because it will create an imbalance chemically in our pond, and we don't want that. They need to have periods of being on and off the pond, and besides, right now we need them to stay together so that way we can work on breeding new flocks. So that's what Micah was doing.
Like Josiah does when he gathers eggs. Alright, let's get rid of this so we can graduate from this. Got a real gate on here. Alright.
Don't laugh at that. It's not funny when people fall over. You can laugh as long as I didn't get hurt. Just a little embarrassing. Oh boy.
That's it. Now the door can swing open all the way as far as I want it to go. I don't want it to go all the way completely back, so that's about good right there. And then now we just gotta put our post here.
Then it was time to dig some more. This time with the post hole diggers. And that's a workout too. It works your shoulders, your biceps, get some core in there too.
Trusty post hole diggers. help do the job. Alrighty. See where the post needs to be. Right in here. Right in here. Alright. Somebody better start digging, right?
After digging a hole for our new post, I brought that new post in, set it in the hole, and attached it to the previous post that I thought that I would be using.
I know this is too long, too tall. It's better than me.
And I attached it temporary so we could move on to the next part of securing this post.
I know. I'm gonna have to for a minute.
For all of my wife's life, her family has done construction work. Masonry construction, to be specific. They've done residential projects, they've done commercial projects, they've done projects in between. And on this property that we farmstead on, about half of the property is where our farmstead operates. But on this other half over here is where they have their construction equipment and various construction stuff. And I actually worked with them about a year or two, and I got to learn how to mix mortar, mix concrete, and even learned how to lay brick just a little bit. And just last week, my brother-in-law, he mentioned something to me about mixing concrete, and he said, try doing this. So I'm gonna give it a shot.
These are some leftover bags of mortar that have some hard spots in it where moisture has gotten in, but some of it's still soft and usable.
This is what he said do. He said a lot of the guys that he knows that set posts, they don't mix the concrete. They just dig the hole, put the post in, and pour the concrete into the hole.
There's water.
You remember those concrete pieces that I moved earlier, right? Well, those were bags of mortar and concrete that were outside and that had hardened up from absorbing the moisture in the air, and they just made almost perfectly shaped pieces. No one had to mix them and shape them up. So based off what Hazen told me, pouring the concrete in this hole like this without mixing it should work, right?
feet again. Alright. This stuff is pretty fast drying. Alright, it's getting hard already. Let's make sure the door still closes like I want it to. Where's my heading?
What? It won't close? That wouldn't have been fun having to try to figure out how to adjust that. Whew. Glad it was just the mulch there.
Hey Josiah, would you hand me 2 rocks?
Sure.
Okay, still got to do something about this so the ducks don't come over here trying to drink and eat concrete before it's fully dry. See, yeah, I want them drinking that, yeah. All right, let's see. Put that there. This one here. Just make sure I get this away. Eating this here.
Yeah, definitely don't want any of our ducks eating up the mortar and getting hard inside and turning them into like rock ducks. No, we don't need that. And then after all that, we closed up the gate so that way things would dry in place and settle where we want things to be. And it hardened up really fast. Later on we checked it out and things were just totally dry, solid, and secure.
Awesome. Move our rocks back. There we go. Sound dry. Yep.
Josiah and I also made some other final touches to our Welsh gate.
Start with the thicker one.
And it felt so good to get that sheet of metal out of there. And it's so nice that Josiah and I can easily walk in to tend to the Welshes with having a gate there. It makes things so much easier. Now we still have a lot more work to do for this big project here, and I also need to make other gates like this for our other breeds of ducks. But we're going in the right direction.